All right, good morning, everyone. This is Jennifer Sanchez, and we are on live in our Wise Coffee Chat show. It's the morning coffee chat. So this is where you get your weekly cup of inspiration, motivation, and conversation. And really, this is a show of just women, from the WISE community and our networks, just hanging out beginning of the week, having a great cup of coffee, and just having conversation about topics that really matter to us, right? And then, of course, I'm the founder of the Women's Institute of Self Development and Efficacy. Welcome, everyone watching. This is just an inspiration from our community. We are big on talking about trending topics and development, self and professional development. So we want to make sure we talk about this with you ladies. So welcome. Take it away, Nancy.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning, Angel. What are you guys having? Good morning. I'm having decaf coffee, and I opened the can this morning, and I smelled it, and I was like, mm. I was like, okay, I'm ready to start this morning. I'm ready for my coffee. I hope you guys are too. Happy Monday, and I am so excited to talk about what the topics we will be talking about today.
Yay. So, of course, Nancy, remind our viewers, who are you and what are you doing? How awesome you are.
Yes, good morning. So my name is Nancy Fernandez. I'm a mother of two, passion of information technology. I love to inspire people. I love to be part of leadership clubs. I've always been, ever since high school. I always like to be part of something, helping in something that I can. I was reading a quote the other day about life, about being successful, and and actually it's about Selena. What a coincidence, right? Because I love Selena.
Did her
Everybody knows
did her
Selena
show
by
come
now,
on
right?
yet? Did her
I'm
show
sorry?
come on? Did the
No.
show? Okay, got you. Okay.
So I'm waiting for it because it's going to come out on Netflix, right? And I put it so that it reminds me. But it was a quote from Selena is that to make something, that if you're going to make something, you're not going to be eternal, but if you make something eternal, like a legacy, I guess, that will be eternal. So, I'm trying to
Aw.
follow that, in the future or now or whenever that will be, but I'm praying for that. And I hope that I will become that, and I'll pray for that. So,
Of course you are. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Nancy is one of those people you have to meet. She is always available. She's always helping out. She always wants to, and she is always on time. Like she is always the one that is punctual. She's a get it done kind of gal, right? So we all love Nancy, and I love her. She's like awesome to work with. So I'm like, yeah, Nancy got it down. She got it down. Um, so welcome everyone. We see that Angel. She wrote good morning, ladies. Of course, as always, let us know what you are drinking, right? This is the coffee chat show. And I'm drinking actually, I looked up the brand that I made this morning and it's the Nice brand from Walgreens. I was like, what brand? Remember last week I was super stuck on like, what am I drinking this week? I was like, oh, so it's like Mountain Climbers Premium Roast Nice brand. It's all right. I love Walgreens. So I just wanted to share that this morning with you guys. Um, so of course, let us know what you're drinking. I had to ask you, Nancy, this is going to be really funny, but have you ever tried the Charlie?
no.
No? Okay. So, I don't know if your boys, I know you have two boys, right? You have two boys. They're preteens. They're not teenagers yet, correct?
Right.
Okay. Are they into TikTok in the TikTok world? And
No, they
no,
hate it. They're like, Mom, I thought it was going to be banned. I don't know why I understand why it's not banned. Blah, 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 they're like talking about it. And I'm like, they hate it. They hate
oh,
it.
so I'm going to share this with you. My daughter is on TikTok. Well, not no more. Those privileges were taken away temporarily. So everyone's following this Charlie D'Amelio young girl, right? Have you heard of Charlie, the young girl? Okay. So it's a TikToker. She's like the most famous TikToker on TikTok at this point. She's 16 or 17. Um, she has a dance background, so she's actually really smart. So for those that don't follow her, what she did is she created her and a group of girls, maybe about five, created dances, right? And they made the craze of, you see all these dances that people are doing on TikTok. Well,
Mhm.
originally they start from her because of how many followers she has. She has almost like a million, a billion followers. She has a lot of followers. So, of course, everyone's always trying to do the latest TikTok dance. Let's try the latest TikTok dance. I know you've probably seen that. Well,
I've seen it.
this little girl partnered with Dunkin' Donuts. All right, this little girl partnered with Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm like, Lord, I hope this little girl, they teach her about how to take that money and multiply it and make more money out of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you can go to Dunkin' Donuts and ask for the Charlie, okay? And my daughter was like, Mom, you gotta go to Dunkin' Donuts and get me the Charlie. You gotta get me the Charlie. I was like, okay, what is this Charlie thing? So I'm feeling like this is fake. This is not real. You cannot go up and just say, give me a Charlie. Well, I pull up to the drive through and I'm like, you guys got this Charlie thing? She's like, yes, we do. I was like, oh my God, it's real. This is real. So my daughter's dying laughing next to me, like, ha ha, she's excited because she's gonna get it. So I get her the Charlie. I'm like, fine, here's a Charlie. I give it to her, and it does taste. I'm no longer. I don't drink Dunkin' Donuts as much as I used to. It actually is pretty good. It is pretty good. It's iced coffee. So I wanted to share that. It's not on the boards. It's not, you can't order it off a menu. You just go and say. And I asked the guy at the drive-thru. I said, "Is this a real? Is this real?" He's like, "It's a real popular drink, actually." He said. I'm like, "Oh, well, now I know. It's actually really good." So wanted to put that out there, and I know my daughter wanted me to share that. So
Now I know.
now you know the Charlie. Good morning, Yamalet. How are you? Let us know what you ladies are drinking, of course, as you guys are jumping on. So I'm glad that we're talking about coffee, and I know that we wanted to make sure that we talked about this amazing woman. Of course, I want to talk about Selena. Now that you brought up Selena, Nancy, uh,
Yeah.
we but I know that Ruth Badger Ginsburg passed away recently at 87. So did you want to kick off the conversation, Nancy, and then I'll chime in?
Sure. So I wanted people to know that she was the first woman to be hired in this position with tenure, and she taught at Reuters University, Columbia University Law School. She was the second woman to serve in the Supreme Court. She was born on March 15, 1933. She's a long-term survivor of pancreatic cancer. It went away, but I guess, it reminisced, recently. But she was a survivor. I mean, she went to law school and school with this cancer, and she survived it all. So that's the most amazing thing that I found about her, that she didn't let cancer deter her from her dream or goal. And she became somebody very important in life. So, that's just amazing in itself. For those of you that think it's too late to go back to school, you should reconsider, because there's some people that are going back to school that, have something, but they're not letting that something, deter them or pull them back. So I just found that so amazing from her, that I don't think she even let anybody know that she was going through this, until, of course, the media and stuff like that. Right. But, she, what else did I want to say about her? On October 23rd, 2019, she wins the Berggruen Prize for Philosophy and Culture, for her contributions to social justice, because that was her concentration, I guess, to social justice. A lot of people are saying that there won't be somebody like her again. I hope so. I pray that there will be. But she did many, many things, and she was just such an amazing woman.
Wow, that's great. I know that. I think what I really like, there's a movie on her. I don't know if you got to watch the movie, but I remember watching the movie maybe about a year or 2 years ago, and man, it was very inspirational watching the movie. I mean, of course, I know that when she went to the university, there were not a lot of ladies in the university, right? She was, well, one of few. A lot of people didn't want to hire her as a lawyer. They didn't take her seriously.
Mhm.
Um, so even in the movie that was about her life, it was like she felt like she only was able to teach, right? Because it was more acceptable for women to teach and be nurses as a profession, as a professor, but to actually practice law, she wasn't taken as seriously. So she was appointed in 93 to the Supreme Court. Yes, Blanca, on the basis of sex. I love that movie. That is such a great movie. And what I really enjoyed is she's so cunning and so creatively, right? Because women couldn't have a credit card, right? That was what it was. And I want to say it was the 60s and the 70s. And can you imagine not having a card? Can you imagine not having a bank account under your name, or being able to get a house under your name, or having breakfast tea? Nice, Anna, breakfast tea. I love it. Blanca said on the basis of sex. I want to make sure I shout out to Blanca. And then Anna, morning ladies out of coffee, having breakfast tea. Beautiful ladies. Thank you for sharing. Oh my God, this movie, if you guys have not watched this movie on the basis of sex, you need to, because young, she was ready to take over the world. She wanted to make change, and she had a husband that supported her. Throughout this, and he was also a lawyer, so he was very supportive of her, trying to get her to become a lawyer, is what she wanted, to practice law. But the creative thing is the way that she got it. If you didn't watch the movie, was in those times there was a man that wanted to care for his loved one and wanted to be considered a home care provider. And I want to say it was, if I remember correctly, Blanca, if you're still watching, remind me. He wanted the social security that comes from being a home care person for a loved one, but because of his gender, he was a male, he wasn't given that opportunity. So she fought for a male to be a home care provider and get the benefits of being a home care provider, which it went with gender discrimination, which was a way that she was able to now start giving privileges to women. So do you see, if you watch the movie, you see how she was defending for a man on his gender rights, and by her doing this, women were allowed to start. It was so creative. It just opened the doors for women to do all these amazing things. So Blanca said that's correct. Thank you, Blanca, for assuring me, because it's been a while since I watched it. But I saw a meme saying that if you've ever played a sport, all right here, you better thank this woman. If you have a credit card, if you have an insurance policy, if you have a home under your name, if you have a car under your name, you better thank this woman. Because if not, we would still be depending on our husbands, right, to provide those bank accounts and those credit cards, and we wouldn't even be playing sports, right? That's my kicker. That one's like, I mean, all of them are, but I cannot live without the idea of being an athlete, or growing up in school and not playing a sport. That would kill me on the inside. So for me, right? I don't know about you, Nancy. What did you play sports, Nancy, when you were growing up?
Not too much. I was more in the leadership. I mean, I like basketball. That one, and soccer. Those are the only ones that I would play if I would ever play. Um, but I mean, I had to play the other ones too. But and swimming.
Swimming.
But other than that, not too much. I was more into the leadership and things like that. So the clubs.
That's a lot. That's still a lot. The fact that you played basketball. I was so surprised when you told me you played basketball because I never got on the basketball team, but I was on the swim team. I was a cheerleader and I was a soccer player. So those were the sports that I kind of focused on when I was younger. And then in college, I used to coach water polo and I used to coach a swim team. So like that was my that was something that I was really involved in. So I thank this woman. So if anyone has any comments on Ruth, let us know in the chat. Oh, look, Veronica said she's having turmeric tea.
Yeah,
Yay. I love turmeric.
me too.
I know that my mother-in-law, she actually lived in the Middle East for many years, so they use a lot of turmeric in their as a spice in their foods, right? So turmeric's good for the all those health benefits of when you're swollen or you need to de-inflammate. You have a lot of inflammation. Turmeric is good for that. Absolutely. Awesome. So Yamilet said, I wanted to play sports, but my parents were overprotective and wouldn't allow me to join any team because they would say I was going to break a leg or break an arm.
Very much.
Oh,
Yep.
that makes sense. You know what? You could play sports now, Yamilet. There's teams out there. I actually maybe about before I got pregnant and had Camila, my third baby, I was trying to play for a soccer team, a soccer league. So I know that I was looking around and I found something close to Melrose Park and I played a little bit, but then that team like didn't stay long. So I know there's leagues out there that you can be part of. I recommend watching the RBG movie with young girls slash women. It's definitely empowering. Okay, good. That's going to be my assignment, Blanca. You gave me something to watch this week. Thank you.
Yeah.
So awesome. Any final words, Nancy, on Ruth, or any ladies want to chime in on Ruth? I think that we definitely want to honor her and just appreciate her life because I'm actually I haven't seen that documentary, but the movie was awesome, and the fact that she survived 4 battles with cancer, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
One last thing I wanted to say about her is that on August 26, 2020, she was selected to receive the National Constitution Center Liberty Medal for her efforts to advance in the liberty and equality for us. So I love that.
Yay! So big shout out to her. God bless her. Rest in power.
Yes.
We definitely appreciate her. And thank you, ladies, for chiming in because I know that these are great conversations. So, of course, we wanted to go into our next topic. I still want to talk about Selena, but our next topic, we wanted to talk about vacation and girls' trips. So Nancy, I know that this was something that you are a real big person on making sure you go on vacation, making sure you get away. Since I've met you, this is something that is big part of your life. So go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, I always have. And I'm just going to tell you one thing. Like in 2009, I'm crazy. So I'm just going to give you this example because I do. I booked a trip to go to Arizona. So I went to Phoenix, Arizona, and the final destination was Sedona. And I remember I never went there. So I was going to go there by myself, mind you not. And Sedona is 4 hours away. And I was going to drive because, that's the only way that you can get there. And so I was being cheap. I'm not going to lie. And I, didn't pay the $20 for the GPS, but I printed the instructions on Google on paper. And that's how I got there. And I'd never been there. And I'm like, I'm crazy. And a lot of friends are like, you're crazy. I'm like, you could have got lost. You could have, because there's so many turns. And I don't know if any of you guys have been to Sedona in Arizona. And it was crazy. I mean, it was like so many turns. Like it's like a turn, to get up to wherever I was going to get up to. And it was just crazy. I didn't ask anybody. The good thing is I figured it out on my own, but it's crazy. But yes, I am big on trips. I'm always big on trips. You have to. I'm like, I don't know how or what, but I've always been like, I'm going somewhere. I don't care where it is. I'm like, even if it's close here, if I have to drive. And I was more like plain, before this Corona thing, I would go places, but yeah,
Mm,
you have to at least do something. And
absolutely.
this year it's been Michigan.
Yeah, Melez said I got lost with GPS image with a paper. So it was in '09. You printed out the Google map. I remember in those times we had to print. I don't remember them being on our app like how it is now. The luxury and actually it was funny because I was just talking to my husband the other day about, I don't know about you ladies, but my dad is the type of man that likes to drive to Mexico. I'm from Mexico, right? So we used to take the family car trips to Mexico, right? And drive. Well, obviously that was in the 90s, right? And how the heck did they do it back then? Like, I remember him bust out with his big old map, and it was this big thing in a leather, like a leather casing thing. And it was, you would open it up and there were all these little like roads and lines. And I think about it now and I'm like, I would have a panic attack trying to figure out how to go to wherever I need to go in the 90s, early 2000s with this paper map. Of course, down the road, he was so comfortable with the roads, he knew his path to get to his town. But I think like the thought about it now freaks me out,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it does. I know, like, Gemelette says, I get lost with the GPS. Imagine with a paper. LOL. Yeah. I don't know how I did it, Gemelette. I'm telling you. I mean, and back then, it's just crazy. And then
Yeah.
Black, I love saying the world is too small to stay in one place. True.
Ab- Absolutely. That's good. I think, it's even okay. So we went to Mexico, me and my husband, my family, we went on our own 3 years ago. And we had to travel from one town to another town, my husband's town to my town. And luckily, thank God for these phones. Like this phone took me still through Mexico on GPS to my side of the town, which was still 3 hours away. It was only a 80-mile drive, 80 miles, okay, but it took 3 hours for those 80 miles. Um, but still, like just the thought, like that GPS, if it wasn't for GPS, we would have been lost because, um, okay, you're from Jalisco. So for those that are from Mexico, right?
Mhm.
How do you call it? El periférico? Is that what you
Yeah.
call it? Oh,
Yeah.
Lord Jesus. That thing, I would have been lost on that thing. So it's like a highway that just keeps going in circles in the town, and the way to get off is very confusing. So
Yeah.
I just said, Lord, GPS, take us wherever we gotta go because we had to go through there to get to my town. So yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
Um, we have Blanca said, family road trips were the best. We drove to Mexico many times. Reading maps is definitely a skill. I agree. Yamala said, I went to England with a college class, and on our last day, we were in London, and no one wanted to check out London. I went all by myself and toured London. It was the best. That is awesome. My dream has always been to go to Mexico. Oh, you'll love it. We got to make a trip to Mexico then. A girl's trip to Mexico, right? Um, yeah, I can only imagine like trying to go. Do you usually go, Nancy, on your own to places?
Yeah.
You
Like,
take your kids.
yeah. So I try to take my kids now. But sometimes, they found out somehow that I'm going to that Wise retreat, and they're like, "Yeah, we want to go." And I was like, "No, there's no kids. No kids are going. It's only, women." Oh, but I want to go. And I'm like, and they're like, "Well, we know where you're going." And I'm like, "Oh, great." So now they know where I'm going. I'm like, and so, but yeah, they always want to go with me, and they love trips too. So I'm glad.
Oh. Yeah, I'm excited about this year's trip. Um, we have, if you have been following me, I've been promoting a retreat. We've done retreats. This is our third retreat. Nancy has been to all of them. And we are going to Whitehall, Michigan this year. Um, And I'm super excited for this trip because there's something about going away with a group of women. You know, it's great to go with family. It's great to go be away on your own and be in solitude, but something about going away with a group of women. And I'm really excited about this time around because it's really created to have a lot of my own time in solitude with journaling. So I'm super excited about this retreat. So I know that we have a lot of women that are excited about it as well. Um,
It's Friday
Nancy,
yet?
is it Friday yet? Right? Like it's really like a 4 day weekend for us. Like we're like, yay, you know. So I'm excited, but I wanted to actually throw in something funny. I remember one year when I went to DC. I went by myself. I went on a trip. My company sent me out to DC. My special, but um, I don't know if GPS existed yet. That was in 2012. I don't know. I think it was. I think it was like print out MapQuest type stuff still. Like, I don't think it was on our phones yet, right?
Right.
But I do remember like I was trying to find the White House, all right? So if you've been to DC, their streets are like KLMNOPQRSTUV, right? They have just letters. And then, of course, how did I not remember? Like, it's on Pennsylvania Drive, right? Like, I should have known that. So I just remember I was like on K Street in a hotel, and I was like, let me just follow this group of people and see if they will take me towards like the downtown, like Congress district area. Well, it turns out that I went to the opposite end of the town, opposite end of DC. I was following, see, in here when because we're so segregated in Chicago, you know, you just follow the crowds and you're hopeful that, you know, they're not going into bad neighborhoods.
Hmm.
I didn't realize that in DC, the bad neighborhoods were like every other block. So like this block is a good neighborhood, this block is a good block, this block is a bad block. This block is a good block, this block is bad block, according to what I learned being out there. So I'm just following, and then finally when I started seeing like Ethiopian nightclubs and, you know, things on the floor, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm in the right area. So I had to like wave down a girl walking down the street, like, hey, show me where the White House is at. She's like, you're on the other side of town. Like, you need to walk that way. I was like, oh, wrong way. I, you know, that could have been a bad move, but I'm glad that I found that girl because I was just going the wrong direction. But that was just me trying to explore DC and walk around.
But Jennifer, don't you think like, well, these trips, right? So going on a girls trip, a lot of people focus on like, oh, well, I can't because I have kids, and I can't because of the family, and there's gonna always gonna be an excuse, right? But you should always find time for yourself. I have kids too, and trust me, in the beginning, I was like, oh, I don't want to leave them, and because I seriously don't leave them anywhere, like I don't go anywhere to leave them somewhere. But after talking with their dad, and I said, hey, I'm traveling and I need you to take care of them, but the coming into the tips or the reasons why it's a good deal to go out on these trips is, because you break out of your comfort zone, right? Because you're used to just hanging out with your hubby, your family, and your kids. So you only have that kind of mentality, right? But when you
Yeah.
go out and, you hang out with other women, they have other perspectives and you kind of let your hair loose kind of, right? Because now you're like, oh, I don't have no kids right now, like hopefully no phones, but most of us use our phones for memories, right? I do. I love my phone for memories, and that's the only reason why I would use it, not to call anybody, because I swear I'm disconnected that weekend. Don't call me. I'll call you. Just kidding. Um,
Yes.
explore new places, right? Maybe some of us haven't been to Michigan. This will be my third time there, so I don't know what Michigan is calling me, but this will be my third time this year being there. So in a different part of Michigan, right? Um,
Yeah.
so
Michigan might stick around for a while, Nancy, with Wise, because as a result of putting this retreat together for women, I had this amazing connection with someone, and I think Michigan might be in our plan for moving forward for other events. So I'm not going to spill the beans,
yeah.
um, but I think Michigan is in our cards for a while moving
Right.
forward.
Yeah. So I agree with Jamalette. Jamalette agrees with me about exploring new places. You recharge, right? When you come back, I swear to you that these last two times that I've been to this retreat, I come back in a totally different mentality. Like I know I came in like negative maybe, or in my own little way, right? Because I don't try to be negative, but in my mentality, I'm like, oh, this is not going to work out, and this, and you get little thoughts in your mind, right? And then maybe, talking to other women, listening to other women, just being in a different environment, that just totally changes your mentality. It does for me.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. Blanca said, took my first girls trip to Mexico in February. It was such a great time and worry free, which I absolutely needed. So I love that. And then Yamila said, yes, I need at least one retreat a year. It's great to I love that you're saying this, Nancy, how when you get away, you feel better, you come back refreshed, you come back with a different mindset, because that only helps me when it comes to putting these things together, right? I'm always nervous before a retreat. I'm just gonna be honest, right? Let's be honest here. Being an event planner, or always creating events, or an event producer, they call it. It is scary because you want to make sure that you provide this great experience to women, right? So I know that we keep it closer to Chicago because, of course, majority of the people that go to our retreats are local. We want to be mindful that they have kids, right? The last two times we were going out in Wisconsin, it was maybe an hour and a half, 2 hour drive. It wasn't so bad, the drive, right?
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
year we're going a little further out. It's going to be a lot more of a road trip this time around to get where we're going. But the place is so nice, very remote, very calming. Um, I really think that it's going to be an amazing experience for the women.
And there's also wellness to it, right? Because we're going to probably have fitness, for the mind, the body, and the soul. And you disconnect from technology. That's what I said. Well, you try to, right? Because it's kind of impossible when you want to take pictures. Well, and at least in my case, I love pictures. I love memories.
Of
When you
course.
create a memory, you always want to come back to it, and you will never forget it. And it's just the places that we've been are so beautiful. You catch things that you never would have caught back home. And so that's what I like, because I'll bring it back and I'll look at it and look at it. And then, when I'm feeling kind of different, I'm like, oh, remember when you went to, Michigan, and, you experienced all these nice things, and, you went through, like the first year was the campfire, right? I'm going to recap just real quick. The first year was the campfire where we burned pieces of paper, and it was so awesome, right? It was just like amazing. We felt, all of us, I think, felt, that amazing, like uplifting, like I don't know how to explain it, but I felt relieved. I don't know about everybody else, but relieved, and it was just awesome. And then the last year was the lanterns, right? Where we lit the lanterns and we set them on the lake, and they all went. We were all looking at each other. It's like, oh, look at yours went next to mine, and we're running together, and and things like that. It was so funny, and we just like watched them till like they like moved on, and we were taking video and just like setting them down on the lake, and it was just amazing, and then I can't wait for next this year, what surprises are planned for this year. So I am super excited, and that's why I'm sort of like you know giving these girls why I do this, and maybe it'll set some incentive in anybody else that is thinking about it. I don't know if it's too late already, but it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, yeah, no, I appreciate you wanting to talk about this because I think I like to keep a level of suspense, right? And everyone's like, "What's the agenda? What's the agenda?" I'm like, I really don't share the agenda for the retreats because I want to keep it like exciting for women. Like, oh, what are we gonna do? What is Jennifer putting together? As long as there's gonna be physical activities, there's gonna be wellness. If someone really wants to come with us, I did close registration, but if someone really wants to make it happen and they're down, they have to reach out to me like today. We could still squeeze maybe one person, a couple people in, but really, I'm just excited for it because of the anticipation. Like even me, I'm just like, I'm excited to see how this is going to unfold. Um, but I think girls trips something about girls trips. We do these every year, right? We do these every year. Something about them is just, you, like you said, you let your hair down, you focus on you. You don't have distractions, right? Like, you don't have to worry about the house. You don't have to worry about, the kids, hubby or whoever's watching the kids got it under control. It's one of those things that you get to focus on you 100%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because even on a vacation with a family, let's think about it. You still got to make sure, oh, my kids got to eat, right? My husband
Yeah.
got to eat. What do you want to do? You got to be conscious of the other person's wants and needs, right? This time
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, take me to wherever you want me to do. What is it that we're going to focus on, Jennifer? And that's it. I'll follow your lead, right? So it's kind of like there's no thought, there's no
Yeah.
thinking involved.
If you don't go this year, you're missing out. You're missing out. Seriously, you will be missing out. And I know, like, all the girls that have gone before that, that are going this year are excited. And, because it is, even these 3 days, it's just like so amazing only because you book time for yourself, and this is time for you, an investment in you. And so you will not regret it. You will not.
No, and Blanca says, when is this year's retreat, and is it too late to register? So we're actually leaving this weekend, coming up. We're expected to arrive Friday by 4 or 5 p.m. If you are really interested, Blanca, reach out to me via messenger, and I can get you those details. But we would need to register you today if you're interested. And Yamala said, my hubby was a person that didn't care for vacations. He met me and I introduced him to going out on vacation. Now he loves them. Yay, that is so awesome. Angel said, I'm so excited for this retreat. I absolutely love WISE, and the opportunity to be with this community for a whole weekend is going to be so empowering. And then Yamalet said, thank you, Lord, no needing me at all this week. And no one's going to need you at this moment but yourself. And then, of course, we have to let go of the thoughts that only we can take care of the family. I'm assuming that might be Mary or Amel. So, or Christina. And then, of course, we have Blanca Correa. That would be awesome if you came. Angel, if you can send the details to Blanca or tag her on the event, that would be awesome so she could see the details. But I know that it's going to be a great event. I know that being with a bunch of women over the weekend's always a blast. I'm glad to hear that you always have great experiences, Nancy. And just that's the reason why, right? That's the reason why we have to get away. There's too much noise right now. Too much noise.
Yes.
Everything from election year, pandemic, e-learning, like sign me up to like I keep telling women, like, I want my own retreat because I'm tired. Like, I want to get away. I want to work on myself. I know exactly what I'm putting together, but I'm still gonna go through it as if I'm a participant, because I'm just like, I need my own stuff right now. That's how excited I am. So thank you for talking about this, Nancy, with the community, and I'm excited that you're excited. And I'm excited for the road
Please.
trip. I'm excited for the
Yeah.
road trip. The road trip's
Yep.
really beautiful.
I told Angel, I'm like, get ready.
Yes, it's the even the to watch the road trip, like to see the views while you're driving over there is beautiful, right? Very, forests, and I love it. I love it. I love drives. I love, my dad used to drive all the time, so we're used to like long trips, right? For us, it's fun. So I love to drive, and just even the drive itself for me is energizing. I know some
Hmm.
people don't like it, but I really do enjoy road trips.
Yeah,
Um,
they're
so
amazing.
I think vacations, and I've actually been to Phoenix, Arizona, Nancy. I haven't been to Sedona, but I have been to Phoenix, and I have family out in Phoenix, so it's really nice out there.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Um,
that's one of my favorite places. I will always go back. I always
yeah,
said I'll go back, but yeah.
yeah, I have family out there. My grandfather's actually, he's buried out there as well. So yeah, we have a lot of roots over there. But I'm excited about this vacation. So if you guys have any questions about this girls trip, reach out to me, reach out to Nancy. You can find us on Facebook, send us a message. We'll get you connected, or any of the other ladies that are communicating that saying that they're going, reach out to them. And I'm sure we'll get this all situated and make sure that today would be the final day. If anyone wants to go and get squeezed in last minute, you have to communicate and get it all done today as soon as possible. And the cost for that to go to the retreat is $199 for non-members. It's $149 for members of our community. And then, of course, you would have to get your hotel room. We are COVID conscious, right? So this year, we're taking a little different approach. We've had years where we eat together and we have food there to snack on, and we're like, but it's this year it has to be 85% outdoors at all our activities. Like, I'm trying to not be indoors because of taking precaution. We got to make sure, right, social distancing's enforced. And then I don't want cross contamination. So I'm going to try very hard for you guys not to interchange things. Maybe in the working out might be the only time where you might share a weight or something, right? But we're gonna give everybody hand sanitizers. Like, we're gonna be very cautious of everything that we do. And we're in this year, text messaging is going to be very involved in our retreat, and it's part of our programming where I'm texting you where we're at. I'm texting you activities that need to be done. Like, for example, oh, it's 3:30 right now. These are the questions that we're going to be focusing on for the next hour and a half. When you come in, check in through this phone number, text us that you're here so we know that you're on the property. So it's very different this year because we want to make sure we're not we protect everybody during this retreat as much as possible. And you have to stay in your own rooms. If you choose to bunk with someone else, that's at your own risk, right? So I'm excited. So Blanca, we hope that you come and join us. She
Yes,
wrote, "Thank you. It sounds amazing. Let me
it
talk to my
is.
husband and I'll reach out by noon." Beautiful. Reach out to me. Let's get you cracking. Let's get you part of this, girlfriend. We're up for it. And we love new women. We love new women joining our retreats because,
And there's been women that gone on their own, not one girl in the Wise group, and they've enjoyed it, like Christina and me too, because I did the first year, and then Christina was second year, and they've
oh
gone on their
yeah,
own.
you're
So
right,
don't forget,
Nancy.
you know.
You're right. You were the first one. I remember, Nancy, the first retreat. You were the first one, and you didn't know any of us, and you were like, "I'm down. Here you go," and I'm going. And I remember, and I was like, "All right, let's do this, Nancy." So,
Yes.
thank you so much for trusting me. I'm excited. So, of course, we wanted to wrap up this conversation with Nancy has provided some tips now that we finished wrapping up the vacation conversation and girls trip on feeling stuck. So I'm
And
sure this. Go ahead, Nancy.
and this all ties in, right? It's so crazy when I think about the topics that I want to talk about, that they all tie in some form or shape, and sometimes this trip, you're feeling stuck, you don't know what to do, these situations that are going on in life, have brought you down, our kids, right? And it's not that they're bad, it's just that you're so stuck in taking care of everybody else but yourself. You want to provide, you want to make them feel good, but who makes you feel good? There's nobody that's going to make you feel good but yourself. And so, when you're feeling stuck, you have to think about yourself. It's the tip number one. You got to think about yourself. You got to say, hold up, wait up. Okay, so what about me? Where am I in this picture? We have the whole happy family. The kids are happy. My hubby's happy. My household is happy. But what about me? Am I happy? You got to think about that, right? Ask yourself, and I'm not saying this road trip is the only method. I'm just saying that this is a way out, like a way of like just enjoying yourself and taking step one on healing yourself and also making yourself happy for a couple of days. I trust me, you will come back a different woman. You will. So go ahead.
Yeah, Malette said, yes, I learned to be selfish this year.
Yeah.
And I don't like using the word selfish for this type of stuff. Like, it's not selfish. I know that the society tells us, right? Let's call it like it's self love. It is. It really is. That's all that
Hmm.
it is. Like, and I think your hubby and your family will appreciate you more when you're happier, right?
Hmm. Yep. Yep. And sometimes it's just fears. That's like another tip, like sometimes it's fears like, well, what if, my hubby leaves me or something like that? Or what if, my kids don't love me when I come back, and, those are all fears, right? And there's many fears. I'm just naming some, like for me, I just started a new relationship and, I'm like, okay, well, some of my friends are like, and you're leaving your boyfriend by himself? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he's fine. I'm like, and I told him about it and he's like, no, he's like, you're fine. He's like, I know you need your space. And I was like, okay, I'm glad that you appreciate that, because if they love you, they will appreciate that you're going to come back a new and renewed you. Right. So no fears in that sense, and if it's fears that you don't know anybody, don't worry about it. So we didn't know anybody either. And, we're all friendly. And if you reach out to us, we'll talk to you, or if you need to talk, we'll listen. So you want to set reasonable expectations, right? To set out of this being stuck. You want to set expectations. Okay, so what am I looking for? And in the trip, maybe, right? What am I looking in this trip? I want to be peaceful, because that's me. That's my one priority. That's my first priority. I'm like, I want peace. I'm like, because with all these things going on, I just want peace. And I've been to Michigan 2 other times, but I was with other people, but this time around, like with the women and, hearing positive things. And then you want to declutter, right? Sometimes, these road trips, or you want to declutter yourself, you want to think about what is making you feel stuck.
Yeah.
So you want to start decluttering, like, I'm not saying all at once, but, point by point, step by step. It doesn't happen all at once. Feeling stuck is not something that it goes away overnight. It takes time, but it takes you to start. That's the first actually tip that I should have said, that it takes you to make that initiative to start that declutter. It doesn't go
Yeah.
away by you reading a book or listening to music. Those are options and ways, but you got to think about it. When am I going to start? Are you starting today? Are you starting Friday? Tell yourself, when are you starting this? Because if you stay in this, you're gonna be in that stuck declutterness, that stuckness, and you want to
Yeah.
practice gratitude. I want to end with that, because gratitude is such an amazing um thing to do, because before I'd be like, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. But, now in the mornings and at night, and sometimes, when I'm feeling down, like I tell myself, thank you for all these things that are in my life. I may not know why they're coming right now, but, I appreciate, because you're making me a better person. And I start helping people. That's me. Like, I'm always like trying to help somebody, and even though like I may be feeling stuck or feeling low, like helping people like makes me feel better, like that I helped somebody, that I was able to listen to somebody. Um, it might be different for everybody. I'm just giving you my interpretation of,
Or
feeling unstuck. And of course, there's many ways. These are just some of the ways. But I don't know, Jennifer. What do you
No,
think?
that's good. That's good. I love that. I mean, right? A lot of things that we talk about in our community sometimes seem very common sense things. Like, oh, like you said, I'm thankful. I'm always, but when we really practice gratitude and incorporate it into our daily practices, our morning routines, like Yamile, she just did this presentation on the
Mm-hmm.
morning routine in our wise community, which was amazing, right? Because for me, waking up early in the morning, it's a big deal because I want to set the entire day. I want to, like this show, it's strategic why it's Monday because I want the rest of the week to be phenomenal. I get energized by having conversations. I get energized by doing these type of things because I love conversation, right? I'm the type of person that I will fly the airplane for hours, right? There's, there's There's people that are straight to the point. Let's conversate. Let's cut it. But I'm the person that I do enjoy to fly the plane. Me and my husband went to a marriage conference, and I will never forget that. Do you fly the plane, or meaning like do you elongate your conversations? That's me. That's how I am, right? So,
Right.
um, I think that being intentional is a big deal. And I love that you even shared the decluttering because, I was never really taught decluttering. I wasn't. So, it's for me, it requires a little extra effort on decluttering because it's not natural to me to just let me throw away items, right? And sometimes we get connected to items that no longer serve us, right? So then you have Maria Kondo and you have all these teachings on, does this still honor me? Does this still serve me? Do you still need it? My mother-in-law was a big person that was like, do you need this all still? I was like, not really. So she influenced me a lot in that area because it's like, okay, let me start getting rid of things. Let me donate things. If you get rid of something, you're making space for something new. So if you are
Mm-hmm.
hoarding something for such a long time, the moment you get rid of it, you've opened up a space to bring in maybe a new dress, right? You make space
Mm-hmm.
in your closet for new clothing and new shoes, right? So not that I want to encourage anyone buying, but it helps with refocusing. And I remember one time watching on TV, I'll just end it with this. I remember it was a psychologist. I won't remember where I watched this. I have no clue where I saw it. But one of the biggest things that they said was don't have things under your bed. Okay. Like try not to have, like, how sometimes under our bed, it's the place where we'll try to shove a lot of things under because we won't see it. Our shoes, our boxes. I don't know. People shove things down there.
We lose things maybe.
Yeah, we lose things down there, right? But she was saying that, and she was doing therapy, and she said that she tells her patients or clients not to do that because that is the place that you sleep and you find rest and you lay down and you're supposed to process things and learn things. So having things under the bed actually hurts us where we can't find peace because we got so much clutter and junk under there that when we clear that space out, it's easier for us to focus. So that don't ask me where I heard this. This was years ago, but ever since that, I like try to keep that under my bed space clear because I want to just I don't want to think about nothing. I don't want that energy of those items under there to influence my day to day, right? So, I do believe in, I
Oh,
believe in
I
the
believe in the.
I believe in the Holy Spirit, and I'm a faith based woman, but I also believe in energy and items and things have energy, right? Things
Mhm.
you bring in your home have energy. So, just wanted to share that
Angel said that you have to be intentional in order for it to work.
for the retreat. I'm assuming, or she's talking about life and gratitude. I think she's talking about
Oh,
gratitude.
gratitude. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, Melissa, yes, I love my morning routine. I got up today at 5 a.m. and I have done so much because of it. Awesome. Yeah, Melissa, you're a rock star.
Great. Yeah.
And yeah, Melissa, oh my God, like the show, The Home Edit on Netflix. It's amazing. Okay, another assignment for me to check out. I just love it when the ladies are making suggestions. So the show, The Home Edit. Okay, so now we know we gotta check The Home Edit. We're gonna watch the documentary Blanca shared. I forgot what it was, but we have a
Yeah.
lot of great suggestions here in the community. So this is exciting. Um, so Nancy, you shared some great tips. I love the idea of getting refocused. If we're feeling stuck, some activities that we need to do to feel unstuck, right? To
Mhm.
get back laser focused. And yes, part of the retreat, getting away is part of it, but also all these other things that you can do at home if you cannot get away. Sometimes we can't get away, right? Okay, there we go. I'm getting the home edit book, Mary said. Um, Anna said, "Yes, I've heard of the under the bed thing too." LOL. Okay, cool. So I
Mhm.
know I heard this somewhere. I just
Right.
don't remember where.
Yeah.
But any final words, Nancy, to wrap up today's show?
Yes. So I want to wish everybody a blessed week. These were great topics. I hope that anybody out there that still wants to go to the retreat reaches out to Jennifer or any of us today so that we can wrap this up. I can't wait to see everybody at the retreat on Friday. And I hope that, you think about some of the things that we talked about today, and give it some thought. If you haven't, or are thinking about it, and I appreciate every one of us, and every one of you that have been on the show today, and Jennifer, and I hope that more people can join us next week. Will be my fourth
Yeah.
and final for the month, right? And try to give maybe somebody
Yeah.
else an opportunity.
Yes, Nancy, next week is Nancy's last show. She's been so great. She's been so good. I love it. We will have actually Angel, Angelica Ramirez. She will be our next host for the month. She'll be the co host for the month of October. And I'm excited to have her on also. She's a wise mentor. She's part of the community, very involved. So I'm excited. So Nancy, we gotta like end your show, and you'll be back. It's not the last and final show, but we'll
Yeah.
make sure you come back. But we're gonna do we gotta do a shebang show for you, like a Selena. I love
Yes.
Selena show. I think
Yes.
that'll
Oh
be
my
a good
God.
one. That'll be
You
a
will
good
not
one
shut
for
me
you.
up.
Yes, that'll be a good one for you because I know you love Selena and you love Nancy. So let's revolve it around all those conversations. Um, and again, thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us this morning. I hope that, like Nancy said, your week goes amazing. That you got your cup of inspiration, conversation, and motivation. So God bless you, everyone, and have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.